Welcome to Xbox Newscast Podcast. I'm the host, Colteastwood, and I am here with two very special guests. I've got Benji-Sales, and I've got, let me mute this thing. There we go. That kind of threw me off, but hey, I'm new with this. I've got Benji-Sales, a games analyst on social media, and I've got Danny Pena from Gamertag Radio. Welcome to the show, guys. How you doing?
Hello. Thanks for the invite, man. I'm excited. Very excited. I'm a big fan of you, Cole. I've been always reading your tweets, and Benji too, man. Both of you guys. I'm a huge fan of you guys. So can't wait for us to have our first conversation about games, right?
Yeah, same here. I'm super excited about this.
So let's start with Benji-Sales, a guy who kind of came out of nowhere and started filling the social media space with all kinds of news and information and analytical data for all us hungry gamers who can't get enough of talking. Let us know where you came from, what egg you hatched out of, and how you came to be.
Yeah, so for a lot of people, I did kind of come out of nowhere. But I've actually been doing this kind of thing for a really long time. It's just been before this, it was primarily just on forums. I wasn't a guy that was out there, on Twitter and YouTube. So for a lot of people that weren't down on, smaller forums, they looked like I came out of nowhere. But yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. It's kind of just been like a passion of mine ever since I was a teenager. I've always loved video games, of course, but then really once I became a teenager, I kind of fell in love with the data and analytical side of things, and spent years and years on forums just talking about that. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I want to branch out and start posting this stuff on Twitter and YouTube. And yeah, I've had a really fun couple of years doing that now.
Awesome. So it's come up for quite a while. You're at 23,000 followers or something like that. I don't remember the number exactly, but
something like that. Yeah. 23, close to 24 or something like that.
I don't keep track. but what was the catalyst? What was the big change? Because when you start off in this community, who knows you, who's going to listen? What was it that you felt was your big springboard?
It started for me really right off the bat kind of fast, and a big part of that was the support from people that were on forums. That's how I got my first rush of followers was people that just knew me from forums following me on Twitter. But then it did take a little bit. It was more of a slow build that first I would say year or so, and then I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. It just kind of started snowballing. I would just post tweets about, random game sales performance or some NPD results, and people started sharing, and it just kind of ran. I kind of got lucky, to be perfectly honest. I chalked some of it down to luck for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt to be trying to grow in this space while new consoles are launching. That's another big thing.
Good
hey, Astray in the chat sends a super chat and says, "Hey, Colt, great show, teppanyaki." That's our that's our little inside joke for great food over in Australia is where Astray Gaming comes from. They call it teppanyaki. We call it hibachi over here in the States, or at least where I live. But we've got also on the show somebody who's been in the gaming industry and gaming community for a decade or more, making big waves. Danny, tell us all about your meteoric rise to fame and everything that you've done. Yeah, give us a lowdown.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, I've been podcasting for a very long time. I started internet radio in 2001 just as an experiment. I did it during the Sega Dreamcast days for Phantasy Star Online. Did that for a while. And actually, I went to the original launch for Xbox and also GameCube in New York City. So I was there. There's a photo. You see me online playing Fusion Frenzy with Bill Gates.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So I got to meet the whole team, Jay Adler, the old school crew from during that time. So years later, I launched Gamertag Radio in 2005, and now we've been podcasting now for 16 years and over 1,100 episodes, man. So
that is amazing.
First gaming podcast to reach 1,000 episodes, which is insane. So actually, last year we had Phil Spencer for our 1,000 episode. That was a great conversation with him, and then this year I had Reggie Fils-Aimé. He was the former president of Nintendo of America. Yeah, so that was an interview I've been trying to get for like a good decade or so. And
yeah, he's not an easy one to get. That's impressive.
Nah, Nintendo was always declining every single time. I'm like, oh man. So then one time I just tweeted like, hey man, I would love to have Reggie on the show. And this was right after the episode with Phil came out. And he's like, hey, let's do it. I'm like, oh man. So that's cool. I had Peter Moore on our show many times when he was used to work at Xbox and then EA. And then recently I had a couple years ago, we had a conversation about the 20th anniversary of the Sega Dreamcast. So we had like a 50-minute conversation about everything behind the scenes. It felt good because now he doesn't have to deal with PR, so he could just be open and talk about all that stuff. So yeah, man. So yeah, I podcast with Paris Lilly, and I know he was on the show a couple weeks ago, right? And also Peter Toledo, man. So yeah, we've been doing it for a long time, man. So
that's crazy. Well, I mean, you don't have to do much more. You can just that'll be it, right?
Yeah,
you got some of the big shots on.
Yeah, that's an impressive resume. He's good.
Yeah. And that's and you know it's crazy. That's like a couple people already. Like I had so many people on the show throughout the years. Like actually back in December, I had Keanu Reeves on the show.
Wow. Oh yeah, I remember seeing some of that.
That was crazy. That was like super last minute. And I'm trying to remember who else. I had Jay Allard also. Yeah, a lot of people. It's a long list. But yeah, but it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun recording throughout the years, man.
That's awesome. Eagles fan 76 says, "Hey Colt, good to see Danny and Ben. With part is here, our hometown. Great show. I don't know, Benji, are you in his hometown?
Whose hometown? What was the name again?
Eagles fan 76.
Eagles.
So it's anybody's guess.
I'm not sure, but if I am, sweet.
So before we get into the topics, the reason why we're all here is because we play video games like crazy. I've been playing Mass Effect like it's unhealthy right now. But let's start with you, Benji. What have you been playing? What has been filling your brain and keeping you busy in the gaming sphere?
Mass Effect Legendary Edition. For sure. I've been playing a ton of it. So I finished Mass Effect 1. I'm playing Paragon, of course. I can never bring myself to go Renegade. Like anytime I play that game, I always go Paragon. I think you're going Renegade, Colt, aren't you?
For the first time in like 5 playthroughs, yes. And it's very difficult to hit that right trigger.
Yeah, so I'm playing Paragon. I finished Mass Effect 1, making my way through Mass Effect 2 right now. I'm pretty far. I'm pretty close to the end of Mass Effect 2. And so I've been playing a bunch of that, and then Overwatch. Overwatch is like my go-to multiplayer game.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm an addict. I mean, I've put like 1,500 hours into that game. I am an Overwatch fiend. So a lot of Mass Effect, a lot of Overwatch, and getting ready for, I guess, Ratchet and Clank coming up next.
Oh my gosh, yeah. GTR crew out here says Keisubi, Danny, Hart, thanks, Colt. You got of course, you got tons of fans out there. Eagles fan says again, dang it, it was autocorrect. It was Paris here in Seattle. Oh yeah. You saw when you said Paris as you do the show with. Yeah, Paris was sharing pictures of the Pikes Market, and I haven't been up there in a while.
It's like a tourist. He's a tourist. He called me actually. He was hanging out with a friend of ours, man. It's cool. Yeah, because dude, we've been working a lot, so it's good that we're taking a break from all this, and then E3 comes up, and we're gonna be all busy, you know. But it's good to see that he's traveling, doing this thing, man. Really cool.
So E3 will probably resume in person. We hope next year. You guys gonna be there?
I hope.
Yeah. It all depends for me. I mean, I live here now in Los Angeles. I used to live in New York and Miami previously before that. But yeah, I'll go. It all depends how they have everything set up, you know. So
right.
Yeah, I'll definitely will go.
All right, Danny, what have you been
badge?
playing?
I'll go for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I know.
Yeah. What were you saying, Cole?
What have you been playing? We've been playing Mass Effect.
Mass Effect for sure, 100%. Also Resident Evil, also Knockout City. I've been hooked in that like nonstop. That's why I haven't really finished Resident Evil or Mass Effect, because I've been playing that nonstop. And I mean, there's a couple of games which I can't talk about now too that I've been playing too. But yo, Knockout City, whoo, That game is so good, man. I love it so much, and I'm glad it's available on Game Pass too, man. So,
I've installed it, but I haven't even played it yet because of Mass Effect. Like, what's so great about it? Give us the.
It's a dodgeball.
Mhm.
Dodgeball 3 versus 3. You could also do 4 versus 4 if you want. Cause the developers always changing the playlist, matchmaking everything all the time, weekly, I think. And so I've been playing that, especially with my girl. We've been playing that a lot. Actually, last night she was on her phone, just playing Knockout City, and she teamed up with me, and we were playing like that, like nonstop. So I'm playing
Like
the console,
through,
and she's playing.
through the
She's
game streaming?
not xCloud, just where's the remote play from?
Oh, okay.
From,
Okay.
yeah, because I think it's not available on xCloud. I'm not sure. I'm not 100%, but yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. So yeah, 3 versus 3. There's balls around all over like the level, but it's always random. So it might be like a triple ball, it might be a cage ball, which you throw that to the opponent, and then they'll convert into a ball too. So you could either throw them out or use them to throw to like the other, like the teammate, and so on. So there's so many things you could do in this game, man. But it's so challenging. It's so much fun, man. So yeah, go check it out. It's really cool. You should
never know.
try it out, Colt.
I will. I mean, but I don't even want to like move Mass Effect off of my dashboard. I'm not like so committed.
Yeah.
But it's crazy what games just take off and become massive hits. Like a little game, and I think Knockout City is kind of a little game. And sometimes these little games just don't do it. And sometimes they do. It's such a roll of the dice, and it's interesting to see Xbox is bringing these different big games, small games, medium-sized games into Game Pass, and then you wait for something to stick. That's crazy. I got to play it. Eagles fan 76 says again, if E3 is back next year, you guys going to judges in Paris's versus cook-off? Oh, are you going to be judges? Yeah, they're always talking about their Traeger workout. Right?
Oh yes, yeah. I'll be a judge. I'll be a judge for sure. I'll talk smack
just
both
eat
of
the
them.
food.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Benji? I think I interrupted one of you guys.
It was me. I was going to say, that's the thing I love about Game Pass. Yeah, you will discover a lot of indie games, AA games, and sometimes even big games, AAA games that I probably would not purchase it in stores, but it's available in the service, and I just tried that out for sure, man. So I truly love Game Pass so much, man. Like, I discovered so many cool games today, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Game Pass is amazing. It's changed the way I've played games. Like, I try way more stuff than I did before that I wouldn't be sure if I'd like it or not. Having that instant access, it's nice.
That is nice, yeah. You guys think Game Pass is going to change the way that developers and publishers look at their games? And
I mean, it's been changing throughout. Like recently, it's been changing a lot. Like even I forgot who it was that they were interviewing. He was talking about Psychonauts 2, and he was saying that they don't feel the pressure now because they just could be creative, do some cool. Yeah. So they interviewed him about that, and he's like, yeah, Game Pass will allow us to just do our thing. We don't have to worry so much about like, is the game's going to sell in stores? Is it going to be in the top 10 or whatever? Now they're just doing their thing. And I think more developers, we're definitely going to get to see that years from now, once we see more AAA games from Xbox Studios available on Game Pass. You're going to see the difference, man. Like now the developers could take risk on different things that they usually can't do, because of that.
You have that safety net kind of like pre-built in, right? Like you said, it's whenever you're making, especially for like a high budget game, each one of those, so much is riding on it because, the production is so expensive. So having that, kind of safety net that no matter what, tons of people are going to be able to access your game. It's big.
Yep.
Yeah. And you said, Danny, that you were talking about Double Fine from Tim Schafer. Like they feel like they can do their thing. Right. And he said that was so important. He made a joke on the E3 stage, Tim Schafer. I actually got to meet him at E3 2019. This isn't a brag, but he was standing out walking when I was with Ainsley from Season Gaming. And we're like, that's Tim Schafer's. So we went over and just pestered him. Hey, can we get a picture? So that's like cool. my version of meeting him. But what a great guy. But he said before the acquisition, he's like, telling Phil Spencer, right? Can we still make the games we want to make? Like, you made that joke on stage. We don't want to make Forza Motorsport. We don't want to make Halo. And, Matt Booty was there and said, no, you can make the games you want to make. That kind of goes into the first topic that you said that, because there was a little rumor that blasted out yesterday and was immediately extinguished that developers are leaving Bethesda because of the culture at Microsoft and Xbox. Did you guys see this all unfold on Sunday?
So one thing for me, I didn't want to watch the video because I was on YouTube because people were sending me links about that. I'm like,
I didn't watch the video either. I saw it unfold on Twitter. Right?
But
same for you.
Yep.
Here's the thing: people usually leave to different studios all the time. That's always happens. Once they finish with a project, maybe they're going to continue with the studio. Maybe they find a better opportunity. That happens all the time. Now, for someone to start this fake news, clickbait, whatever, online, just saying that Bethesda left, a lot of people from there left because Microsoft changed the culture of their studio, whatever. That's straight up fake, man. Like, I don't know. That's the thing. People gotta stop promoting these type of nonsense online, because you're helping that person spreading the lie even more, and they're gonna get more views, they're gonna get ad clicks and everything. So yeah, I refuse to promote that type of crap, man. But look, we're gonna find out maybe now during E3, during their digital showcase. I know Xbox and Bethesda are gonna have a conference together, right? That's gonna be pretty cool. Like, it's gonna be cool, man. I think overall, like, the stuff that they're planning to announce from now or show us, it's gonna be exciting, man. It's a very exciting time, like, to be an Xbox fan, But this type of nonsense, I don't promote this. I really don't. I really don't.
And it doesn't even make sense, right? Like, even if you were someone that wanted to believe that Microsoft would pressure Bethesda that way, which I don't believe so at all, but even if you want to believe that, it's been such a short amount of time. Like, you could never force a culture change that quickly in, like, really what's been a few months, right? Since, like, they actually officially acquired them. So it's like, as soon as I saw this rumor popping up, I was like, this just makes no sense at all on any level.
This is fanboy stuff, man. That's what it's all about.
The first thing I thought was, how are they seeing a change in culture when they've all been working from home? They've barely even got into the full swing of working with Xbox and Microsoft. The whole thing screamed fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and it was extinguished pretty quickly. One of the other problems in the community is we attacked the messenger, and this person that does it has a YouTube channel that reported it was something that he had heard, and it gets really super messy. Let's see, let me find this here.
But my advice for those that are like just content creators overall, do your research and be careful what you put out there, man. I've been doing this for a very long time. Sometimes I get leaks, on a show. We're very, very careful about that stuff for us. Like, we don't like to spread stuff online that is not true. Now, we do a lot of predictions just for fun, but things like this, it feels like it's just, to me, it's just tacky, because it will get people all like hyped up just to the fanboy console war crap. You know what I'm saying? So
I had the same issue a couple of months ago. I had heard from a really reliable source that Dying Light 2 was being partially funded by Xbox. And I reported that, and then a couple weeks later found out that didn't happen. People get really upset about that sort of thing, especially when you're looking at a game not coming to your preferred platform. And it can be pretty rough. Jamardo says Knockout City is the Rocket League of this generation.
Yes.
Danny, you think so?
100%. And they even had a esports tournament yesterday for the first time of the game.
Already?
So
they're moving.
Already, yeah. They were streaming it on Twitch. Yeah. I was like, damn, that was quick. That was super quick. Yeah. So I see the potential for sure.
I know they've already had millions of players. Like, it's past millions already. Yeah, millions.
Yeah, millions. Yep.
Oh. Sean the Bree says, you can start the show, Colteastwood. I'm here. A good friend of mine also hung out with him at E3 for like 3 days straight. It's amazing. Hey, Ali 486 says, okay, guys, he's asking, he's not going to ask me. He's going to ask Benji and Danny this one. Time to dream about new games and IPs. Choose one Xbox game studio and describe that new IP that you would like to see. Oh, man.
Ooh,
yikes.
New IP. I don't have to say a new IP, but I'll tell you what game I would like to see to come back. It's been so long. It's been like close to 20 years. Is Jet Set Radio, the series, man.
Oh yeah, that'd be a big one.
First of all, Jet Set Radio Future. There's no way for us to play that, like unless you have the original console. That's the only way you could play it, right? And it's been almost 20 years. And actually, a couple years ago, Sega had like a community event where people could vote like what IPs they would like to see to come back, and Jet Set Radio was number one.
Wow!
So I've been saying this for a while. I think in the future we might see some type of like announcement, and Jet Set Radio has a long history with Xbox, you know. So I would love to see like an exclusive to come back, you know, and especially the past few years, the relationship with Sega and Microsoft has been really good. Close, really good. You know, with Phantasy Star Online 2, with Streets of Rage 2 available on Game Pass. You know, the Yakuza series, etc. So I would love to see a return from that, man. That would be amazing. And the new Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis, which I played it multiple times already. The official date is somewhere around next month in June. So don't be surprised if we either find out the date during the press conference of Xbox, or they might say the game is available right now. Like you could just download it for PC and Xbox. That's something that I could see that happening too, you know. So yeah. So just want to say that. Very long answer, but
Capono 5150, great numbers on the end of that name. Says both plastic boxes are amazing, and several exclamation points after that.
No doubt.
Benji, what do you want to see be either revived or a brand new fresh IP from the 23 studios at Xbox? Pick one.
You know, for me, I would love to see the Coalition make a new IP. You know, I love Gears of War. You know, I'm pumped for Gears 6 whenever it does eventually come. But I think that they are extremely talented. Their games look amazing. I would just love to see what that studio could do with a totally different setting than what Gears is. You know, I'm not picky about what that new IP would be. You know, let them be the creative choice and do whatever they want. But yeah, I would just love to see the Coalition, you know, tackle something besides Gears. Still do Gears 6, but something else as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I feel like Gears 6 is almost coming to a close for their new trilogy, and they could make something else. And I also think they could hold off on Gears 6 and put it out in 5 or 8 years from now while they make something else. But who knows? I mean, you can dream with 23 studios. You can definitely sit and dream about what you want to make. There was a little bit of controversy this week. Borderlands 3, a game I don't know if people are still playing as much. Didn't hit as much as 2 for me, but there's a full crossplay across almost every platform except for PlayStation. Benji, have you looked into this? I'll get to Danny in a second here, but you might have looked into the details on this. Have you?
Yeah, just a little bit, kind of some of the stuff that came out, you know, during the whole Epic and Apple case. You know, we got a lot of information out of that in terms of how Sony handles crossplay. My stance on this is, you know, there's a lot of things that I love that PlayStation does. I think they make some great games, but I can't defend them on this. I feel like the industry is moving away from, you know, you can only play on this platform. You can't play with anyone else. You can't play with your friends. You know, we see Xbox moving the direction where, you know, they want you to be able to play with your friends on PC or on mobile or on Xbox or on PlayStation. You're seeing even, you know, a lot of PC more open up to crossplay. I just feel like the industry is moving away from, you know, you can only play with your friends on this one strict ecosystem. And it's a bummer. Yeah, it's a bummer. Yeah. It looks like Sony, yet again, is unfortunately blocking crossplay on a game, or maybe not necessarily blocking, but you have to kind of do the whole pay them scenario that they have set up.
Okay. Danny, let me get to you here in a second. We've got 1,000 people watching live. We're on YouTube. I've got Benji-Sales, the games analyst on social media, who's building a following. And I've got Danny Pena of Gamertag Radio, who's on here on the show. And if you're listening after the fact or on demand, we are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, and some other podcasts you may not have tried out, but we're in your earbuds wherever you're mowing the lawn, or somebody said they were actually on the boat fishing, waiting for the show to start. So you could be anywhere and listen to guys like this, talk about what they love in gaming. Danny, there may be more than one side of this story with crossplay. Do you think that part of it has to do with some agreement going on with 2K? Have you looked into this?
Not much, because like what Benji was saying about the court case, a lot of the information came out where companies need to pay to Sony in order to have crossplay. Like, for example, I mentioned Knockout City. That is crossplay and also cross progression. So I could play
PlayStation, Xbox,
and Nintendo Switch and PC. Yeah, so I play it normal, like it's fine, but that's cool that I could actually play with other people in the community. They don't have to be Xbox gamers. I could play Nintendo, PlayStation, etc. Right? So it would be cool to see something like that for this, man, for Borderlands 3, man. It helps out to make the game still active and more people playing still, So, okay, there's been games that I play that I go on and there's like nobody's online, So having a crossplay helps out a lot, man. So to just matchmake with other gamers online. So it's a bummer. It's a bummer. Like you said, Benji, I can't defend Sony on this at all, man. This kind of sucks,
Yeah, definitely the bigger games have crossplay. Like Fortnite's huge for one of the reasons might be because of crossplay. Everyone knows that wherever their best friend is, they can play whatever device. I mean, they're playing this thing on a darn phone. But Carlos Alvarado says we need a Killer Instinct reboot. Killer Instinct is one of the best IPs.
I'm waiting for that.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that, man. That one was a lot of fun.
Jake, holy smokes! Jake Macheline said, "Any of you guys do VR?" I don't, but we'll ask these two. Resident Evil 4 is going to VR.
Well, I tried VR multiple times, either at E3 or friend's house. I can't. I get so nauseous, man. I get so sick. I can't. But I did discover a couple games, indie games VR, and one of them was Thumper. It was a PlayStation VR exclusive, and I bought it for the PlayStation 4, bought it for Xbox, bought it for Nintendo Switch, and also for tablet. Like, I love that game so much.
Oh, really?
I finished that game so many times, man. Yeah, I love it.
And that's a rhythm-based game. You basically just funded the entire development team by buying it everywhere.
Yeah, hell yeah. I got to support. It's the same thing with Streets of Rage that came out last year. I got it through Xbox, right, the Game Pass, but I actually purchased it on the Nintendo Switch. I just like to support, developers when they release cool games like that, man.
And or get like lots of gamer score and trophies in different places that you can, right?
Yeah, well, Nintendo Switch is no achievements or anything like that, so
right.
So
I game VR. I have a PSVR. I'll be honest, I don't play the PSVR too much nowadays because I have an Oculus Quest 2, and the Quest 2 is pretty darn amazing. I'm a Beat Saber addict.
Nice.
That's another game that I play like crazy. Love Beat Saber. Pretty pumped to play Resident Evil on it. Yeah, that should be pretty fun. I was hoping Village would have a VR mode, but unfortunately not.
Not yet. I mean, it seems like that. Didn't 7 have a VR mode?
Yep, 7 did.
I'm sure that's coming. VR
is so scary.
No, I stopped playing it to play Mass Effect, so that's another game I have to get back to. It's funny when people complain about, are there enough games? Right now, there's kind of, even in the lull, there's too many games sometimes. I'm not a VR fan, but this game looked cool. That's not VR. Did you guys see the Reveal for Far Cry 6.
Yes.
Yet another Far Cry. But Danny, hit us up with your impressions. Did you sit and watch this and give it your attention?
Yes, I'm excited. I'm ready to go to the Caribbean island, Jara, and dance some salsa. You know, I'm ready. I'm ready to play this game. The game looks so good, man. And I know the protagonist is called, he or she is called Danny Rojas. Yeah. So that's your main character.
You get to choose a male or a female.
Yeah, I'm going with the female. I'm going with a female.
Same.
Danny Rojas. Yeah,
I thought her voice actress was awesome.
Yeah, she looked like a badass. Like, I'm ready to use her.
Did you guys get the idea that your main character will step out in front of the camera for cutscenes, or were they just doing like a concept thing there? It seemed like they were showing that your main character will step out and be in cutscenes like other games. Did you see that?
I think so.
Yeah,
Because
she looks
Far Cry
really
is
cool.
usually like first person for cutscenes, but it did look like they're going to start doing some third person cutscenes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I picked the female for Far Cry 5 because they didn't allow you to do that before. But you're basically looking at arms and gloves, so you don't get to have that connection, and you don't really have much of a voice.
Yeah.
But this does look really good. There was a rumor, a very thin-stringed rumor, that Xbox might try and grab this for Game Pass day and date. You think that's outlandish?
Well, here's something fishy that I found out the other day. So right after the game reveal, there was a live stream on the official Xbox channel where they talked to the developers of Far Cry 6. So maybe there is a marketing deal or something. I mean, I don't know.
There is a marketing deal, yes.
Oh, there is? Also,
Yes.
so that's good. That's good. So if that happens, I would love to see this on Game Pass. That would be freaking wild if that happens. That would be crazy. Yeah.
I also think they usually do that for a service-based game that has legs online. But Benji, what do you think? Do you think this is probably going to be debunked?
It's one of those things. It'd be a possibility. I do think that we are going to see more, AAA, even third-party games hit Game Pass day one. They had a lot of success with MLB The Show on that, and they had a lot of success with Outriders. So there's no way, that they're just going to stop after that. Far Cry to me seems like it might be pretty darn expensive. Far Cry 5 was an enormous seller. It sold so many copies. So it's not impossible, but Microsoft would definitely have to give a nice bag of cash to Ubisoft to make that happen.
Yeah, they would.
For sure. Yeah.
This game comes out October 7th. So around October, there's maybe Battlefield might be coming out around that time too, right? After that will be Halo Infinite, September, maybe August, September, Psychonauts. I think that's like the right time to release it, in my opinion. If you want to release it before all the AAA games comes out, to get that attention. But yeah, I think here's the thing. There's been rumors that we might see Uplay part of Game Pass. We've been hearing this now for months. That would be so sick if that happens, man. Oh my God. That would be a mic drop moment if that happens, man.
That's a lot of games. People don't even understand how big that could be. And that is one of those rumors that is pretty plausible right now. And if that's something true, that's something they might drop on E3. That's going to be a big deal. There's already a ton of games. Brigadier's Blue says, shoot, I'm late. He said, always here to support my work, loving XNC. Keep up the amazing work. We've got a little over 1,100 people watching live. And if you're listening after the fact, because you did that because of Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, on iTunes, and all that good stuff. I'm here with Danny Pena of Gamertag Radio and Benji-Sales of Benji-Sales, I guess we would say. But he is a independent games analyst who's making waves. And of course, Danny Pena has been talking to the gaming community for well over a decade and has definitely made his mark as a positive influence in the scene. And it's always about a smile and enjoying the gaming community and the games we get to play. So the next thing actually, the next topic actually segues in pretty nicely, because we're talking about Far Cry 6. It's mostly a single player experience, but PlayStation's been talking about putting their big franchises on PC and making more games as a service games, even putting games to mobile. So how do you guys see this? We kind of have an idea of what PlayStation provides. They provide the big cinematic single player experiences, light on the multiplayer modes. This year, they've kind of actually had quite a few online co-op and online based games. Let me start with you, Benji. What do you think the strategy is here for PlayStation to kind of break their own mold?
Yeah. So the way that I look at this, I really don't think we're going to see a decrease in output of those big single player, giant cinematic games, because that's really what they've built their brand on, right? That's just what people have come to associate Sony and PlayStation with. But I think their goal is to expand more beyond that. This is more like additive than like pulling back on those single player games. I think they're wanting to just expand into multiplayer and service more, because here's the thing, those single player narrative focused games, they're huge sellers. You can make a ton of money, but those games as a service, those online multiplayer, we've seen you just generate money for years and years and years with this. And Sony as a brand, you can kind of tell as big as PlayStation is, you can see that they want it to be bigger, right? By going into PC, by now talking about expanding out into this multiplayer front. So, yeah, I definitely think you're going to see more of this from them. You know, they've pretty much said that. We know that there's some form of The Last of Us multiplayer game coming. The mobile is an interesting component here. I'm really not sure how they're going to tackle that. You know, I'm very interested to see their strategy on mobile, but I do think, you know, you're going to see a lot more first party stuff directly from their studios have multiplayer components, and then also make some third party deals on this as well.
All right. Okay. Danny, have you looked into this? What do you think about PlayStation and the PC?
That's a good thing. That's more people that are going to get an opportunity to play PlayStation games that don't have a PlayStation 4 or 5, that even don't have an Xbox console. They only have PC and that's it. This is an opportunity for them to play these games, man. I think that's awesome. I don't know why a lot of the hardcore PlayStation fans don't like the idea, because, you know, it's been working for Xbox for years, right? Releasing all these games day one for both. I remember the first time that happened was Quantum Leap. No, was it Quantum Break? Yeah. I'm like Quantum Leap. Wow,
Quantum Leap would be an amazing game too.
That would be an amazing game. But was Quantum Break, and it got released both on PC and also on console, and that was a cool, you know, experiment. There was some bugs, of course, but now I feel like Microsoft has mastered that, you know, with Gears, with all these other games, especially with Sea of Thieves, worked out a lot. And Benji, I know you always tweet about the sales. These games are always like in the top 5, top 3. You know, even with PlayStation, they release a game, it will always will pop up in the top of the chart. So it's not bad business. It's good. And for the consumer side, that's an opportunity for them to try it out for the first time. And maybe this will influence them to buy a PlayStation 5 console because of that. You know what I'm saying? So this is I think is a good thing. Now, with the mobile stuff, I don't know how that's going to work. Are there like PlayStation planning to do like a streaming thing, or this is going to be like an app where people just download the game and just play like that? I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm very curious to see how they're going to release games to mobile.
I think they might actually have some games that are built just natively for mobile. But looking at this, I run an Xbox centric podcast, and of course, when you said, like, I don't know why people get up in arms about a game going from PlayStation to PC. I mean, let's be honest, it's a major argument. It's a bragging right and a fight between the platforms. When Xbox didn't have very many games, they were going to PC, and the PlayStation guys had held that over the Xbox guys, that the exclusives were only on the PlayStation. The only, like, it was an elite country club that for $400 you could be with the elite group and play the most amazing games. And you know, I got into the elite country club of the PlayStation midway through the generation of the PS4. I'd actually had PlayStation before this, but when I bought my last PlayStation, I think I spent $300 to get a used PlayStation, and came with Uncharted 4. Like, it's the cheap entry to get into an amazing platform. But Xbox has been putting their games on PC and letting you play cross with your friends or move your save back and forth with ease, just a couple seconds of a sync time. It's one of those things where, let me say something really controversial, that Xbox is the market leader in a lot of ways as far as what they're doing with Game Pass and how they're expanding their platform to PC, mobile, and streaming services, letting you feel like for the first time, your expensive $60 gaming purchases are totally ubiquitous, like your music and your movies. We never thought we'd be able to buy a $60 game and be able to take it where we want and play it where and how we want. And I think we're seeing PlayStation follow a lot of those footsteps. And like Benji said, they don't need to. They're already the biggest platform, and they're just going to get bigger. And it's that untapped potential, right? Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah. And one thing I think that's really important to remember, you know, maybe for some of the PlayStation fans that do get mad about this thing, you know, if you're that passionate about Sony, here's one thing to keep in mind. 343 came out and they said how Master Chief Collection on PC brought in more new players to Halo, just the franchise in general, more new players that were not familiar with Halo than I think they said like any game since like Halo 1, right?
Wow.
So it brought in like so many new people that just had no experience with Halo before, exposing them to that brand, getting them hopefully to love it. So if you were someone that's, diehard PlayStation and I don't want to lose my exclusives, well, maybe be happy that, people that never played Horizon before, never played Days Gone, will get to experience that.
Yeah, I actually got a DM the other day from a petition. What do they call those petitions that people put out?
Change.org.
Yeah, change.org. Saying no PC master race, no putting your PlayStation games on PC. And they were legit. They said, Colt, can you share this out because you have a following? And I'm like, no, because I believe that everyone, because I feel like even though Days Gone is at the top of the Steam list, it's still part of the PlayStation. It kind of takes away that exclusivity a little bit, but it's still a PlayStation Studio. You're getting the PlayStation Studio experience. I mean, it's kind of interesting because it's already at 60 frames on the PS5, but right now you can't get a PlayStation 5. So it's really smart to expand that.
Yeah. 100% agree with you with that.
Splatman says, do you think it's crazy that I sub to Game Pass, but I buy some digital games even though they are in the service? I like to own them and I like to support the devs. And Colt, I hope you read my name correctly. Dealer never does. Splatman, did I get it right? I'm sure I'll see it in the chat here in a minute.
You're not crazy, man. You're not crazy. I think you did the right thing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You don't have to. Here's the thing: people have to also understand when you download a game through Game Pass, the studio is not losing money. They'll get some royalties from that too. But if you want to buy an extra copy, that will be a plus for the developers too. But I've done it many times. So
they were already paid, right? They were already paid, Danny, to get into the service.
Yeah,
like when Sarah Bond, who's leading the Game Pass charge, when she says, "Hey, would you like your game in Game Pass?" They say, "What's the deal? How much?" And they agree on something, I think normally there is an upfront. Phil's kind of explained that, but he said no deal is the same. Like every deal has different types of perks. A good friend of mine, Wandering Dutch, says, "Good evening, all. Doing my late evening podcast rounds." I believe he's in the UK or Europe. I can't remember. He definitely looks like he came right out of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. He's a really cool looking dude, and he does custom controllers and console paint jobs and stuff. And he does a podcast. I'm going to be on his show as soon as everything fizzles out here for E3. It's been crazy, right? You guys are super busy too. He said less than 2 weeks till E3. Have a great time. It's a great time for gamers. So yeah, it's been absolutely crazy. So let's talk. let's finish this PlayStation talk. We'll get into the rest of the Xbox stuff. We'll get into talking about Halo coming up in the E3 show. But let's talk about this absolutely crazy, feisty deal with Aloy, the new hotness on PlayStation for Horizon Forbidden West. There is a controversy that she doesn't look pretty enough to play. I'm sure you guys are on the same page as me. Yeah, Benji, get us rolling, and Danny, take us around the bases.
So first of all, I think the game itself looks phenomenal. I am so excited for this game. It looks amazing. And as for the Aloy stuff, this is just ridiculous. It was so ridiculous that I made sure I did not retweet that tweet because I was like, oh my gosh, dude, this is unbelievable. Listen, your video game characters do not have to appeal to you visually, okay? They are characters unto themselves. They're not designed specifically just for you to think they're hot or not, right? And I think it's kind of crazy that that people got so up in arms about this, right? Like I totally get the defense over it, but it hit trending. I think it had something like 16,000 tweets that mentioned Aloy yesterday. It was, I think that was yesterday, right? It was just complete. It was just complete madness. I was like shocked that this was a thing. I first saw it starting to get retweeted like a couple times, and I was like, "What is this ridiculous tweet?" And next thing I knew, my whole feed was just like nonstop all day on it. So the game looks amazing. Aloy looks awesome as always, and she's not going to have tons of pounds of makeup out in the middle of a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
Rubbing wildflowers on her cheeks to get blush. Yeah. Danny, did you see this mess?
Yeah. Look, the only advice I'll mention to this random dude that posted this online, which is ridiculous, by the way. Look, man, stop thinking with your penis, man. Like that's come on. The game looks phenomenal. The character looks amazing. What is what is the controversy? I just don't freaking get it, man.
Well,
like
she looks different
good
from the last game. She looks different, right? Yeah.
Look, I changed. I don't look the same. If you look, if I go to the picture of me playing Xbox, the original Xbox, I had hair at that time, right? My face, a little younger. Now I don't have hair. Like it's people changed, But look, the game looks amazing. I'm excited. It looks phenomenal. The game overall.
Yeah.
Now the question that I do have is it coming this year still? Because they say they're planning to release it. There's no date yet. Is how this is also going to look on the PS4. I'm so curious, like especially the first gen PS4s. Like how's that going to look? Because Cyberpunk. If you play that for the first gen consoles, oh my god, it looks terrible.
I didn't even try that.
I was wondering that the whole demo. I was like, how is this going to run on a PS4?
Yeah, no, you have a PS5, you're good. Go in, celebrate, pom poms. Hey, let's go. It'd be awesome. But
It's Flatman says I don't have the whole thing, but he said that I got his name right, and he game shares with his daughter, and it saves him a lot of cash. Like if you mix Game Pass with game sharing, you're set. Eagles fan yet again says, I wonder from all of my favorite podcasts, who is going to interview Sarah Bond? I would love to interview Sarah Bond. We'll see when E3 gets settled out. They're not talking to anybody right now. They're like zip. How many of you are trying to lock her down from requests? Danny, are you trying to reach out to Sarah Bond? She's amazing.
I'm not gonna say much, but
man, you're awesome.
We'll see. I haven't really requested yet because usually this time Xbox and every other company is just so busy that when it comes to like interview requests, I usually wait for them to contact us, and then or after E3, that's when I start contacting companies. But right now, this time, big no. I don't contact nobody from like companies at all. But right before E3, it's just too crazy right now.
Yeah. And if you're new to the show, this is Xbox Newscast. I'm Colteastwood. I'm hosting. I'm doing the best I can. I've got Benji-Sales on here and Danny Pena from Gamertag Radio, and we're talking about all this craziness moving up to E3. And yes, I'm trying to get some Xbox people onto the show. That will happen after E3. Like I said, they're radio silent. Welcome to the channel membership, Wandering Dutch. And let's see, we've got Old Dirty Gamer says a lot of you. A lot of European women are built Ford tough. Those are his words. But I'd actually like to give quickly my opinion about Horizon Forbidden West. I think the game blew me away when I saw it, and I didn't think twice about how Aloy looks. And I saw the memes online. Someone put the meme of the young boy at the baseball game giving the camera like kissy eyes. I don't know if you know this meme. It's like kind of a chubby little blonde boy who's probably a teenager by now. But they were kind of comparing her face to that. And I wasn't even knowing why they were doing that. So later as the day went on, this controversy that she has chubby cheeks. People are ridiculous. This game will look phenomenal. Dan, you're asking about the PS4 version. I think the game will look phenomenal like the last one does. It'll just probably be stuck at 30 frames. And if you've got a PS4, I think you're going to get an amazing experience. And I also think the game will be 60 FPS on the PS5. Obviously, they'll probably have two versions, a full high quality mode at 30, and then the high resolution 60. You're going to love it. Brett Bingham says, rubbing my hands together after seeing Microsoft's E3 plans. Microsoft making acquisitions while Sony is starting inquisitions. Oh, spicy. What were you going to say, Danny?
No, I was going to say, I was more talking about like the first gen PS4, the old PS4, the base one. Yeah. Like I'm wondering how's that going to look on that console. Not the most recent PS4 consoles.
I only played Horizon Zero Dawn on my base PS4. I never owned a Pro, and it blows me away how great those first-party games, Uncharted, Days Gone, ran a little rough, but still looked great on a base PS4. Like I said, I got in really cheap into a PS4, and those games, their art style, their attention to detail is amazing, and I want Xbox to start delivering that. I think we're going to see that really, really soon. But the whole Forbidden West thing is absolutely crazy. So everybody's talking about the PlayStation, but have you seen this trend? Brian Altano from IGN was yet another big influencer at IGN to say that he spends more time on his Xbox than he does on his PlayStation. Danny, I'm going to go to you on this one. Did you see this tweet?
Yeah, I saw the tweet. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to him. I saw it, and that's okay. There's some times that I'll spend months just on my Switch, and I'll even turn on my Xbox or the PlayStation. I won't turn it on. And there's some times that I'll stick with the PlayStation, and same thing. So it all depends on the type of content that's out during that time. There might be bangers back to back from PlayStation that there's nothing really available on Xbox for you to play. Like I'm talking about like new content, unless you want to play
like
some old stuff. Yeah, something like that, which could happen. But let me tell you, like, there's going to be a time with all these studios working on all these like smaller games, AA games, AAA games. It's going to be nonstop content coming from Xbox Studios. It's going to happen very, very soon. Especially like it reminds me of like Netflix. Like every Friday, there's new content every Friday, every week. I have a feeling it's going to be something like that for Xbox in the future. I can see that definitely happen. So yeah, I don't see any problem with that. Him spending more time because to me, PlayStation, I play PlayStation exclusives because I just love their games. I love their story. But all those are single player games. It's not multiplayer games. So why would I go back? Once I'm done, I'm done. But for Xbox, a lot of these games is like a multiplayer experience. Also single player experience. So I don't see anything wrong with that.
Benji, where you play most often? And don't lie.
No, my right now, I would say really since this generation started, my everyday console is the Xbox Series X. I still play PlayStation a lot. Just like Danny was saying, a lot of it depends on what comes out, right? Like, right now I'm playing a lot of Xbox, but as soon as Final Fantasy VII Integrate and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart come out, I'm going to be playing a ton of PS5, right? And I was playing it a bunch when Returnal came out. So it really depends on what's releasing, but so far I have been getting most of my multi-platform stuff on Xbox, right? Either through Game Pass or, you're seeing some third-party games that are just running better on Xbox, right? Maybe not a huge gap, but just a little bit recently with some of these games. So, play whatever you like, right? That's my stance.
Yeah.
If you love PlayStation, play on PlayStation. If you love Xbox, play Xbox. But yeah, for me personally, I would say between the Series X and PS5, my Series X is probably getting a little bit more playtime overall since launch. But of course, it's mostly due to multi-platform stuff and Game Pass. PlayStation's exclusives have been, awesome, pretty much as always.
Yeah. You guys find that I know if I play a PlayStation exclusive, I stay there for like most of the month until I'm done. I get in a mode where I don't want to turn that off and switch over to the other one, and that darn remote to that other HDMI is too much work for me. I have a super chat here that I'll kind of point at you guys. Edward King says, which would be a bigger moment, Battlefield 6 for day one Game Pass, or Kojima's next announced game, which is possibly just an Xbox platform game?
Both rumors. Go ahead. Yeah.
Or
Starfield.
Like
too.
This is a very loaded question. Or Starfield gameplay and a date for 2021. Well, yikes.
I don't see that happen. But yeah.
So quickly, Battlefield 6 day one Game Pass. How likely?
Massive.
That would be huge. Which I could see that happening. I know Paris on our show, he mentioned that multiple times, and he explained why. Because in November is a new Call of Duty, so how are they going to compete every year? Call of Duty demolish, Battlefield every single time. So that's like the perfect game for Game Pass, and also have it available for retail. but also have it for Game Pass on PC too. So, it all depends how they have that exclusive deal with the PC game.
Yeah, think about that, like going up against Call of Duty. That's such a great point. And if you have an easy installment of 30 million people on Game Pass, like you can easily get a boost of 1 or 2 million players on Battlefield or more active on Battlefield instead of Call of Duty. That's crazy.
Yep.
What was the other part of that question? What do you guys think about Kojima? Do you think he's cooking up? It's probably something we're going to see in 2 weeks at E3.
Hopefully.
What's Kojima doing?
Hopefully. I think this might. Oh, sorry, Benji. Go ahead.
No, you can go first, Danny.
Yeah, I think it might be like a series for Game Pass, like a short game, but it's gonna be like a scary game. That's my prediction. I think
a new thing. You're saying a new thing from
a new
Kojima.
thing, yeah. And I think that will be perfect, something like that.
Oh man,
yeah. If this rumor is legit, which you gotta always be cautious around rumors, but if it's legit, I lean the exact same way. I think this is going to be a horror game. We know he was trying to get a horror game greenlit, and he was looking for partners, and he even approached Stadia about it, and that through. So we know he's had something like that kind of cooking. If this Xbox deal is real, like that's what's being rumored, that's my guess. My guess is it's probably whatever horror idea he has spinning up, which as literally someone who loves horror games, that really excites me.
Same here.
Okay. Okay. This is going to be a hard name for me to say, but I am brave. Abhishek Singh says, should Xbox have at least coming 2022 on the end of their games at E3? A lot of people are speculating that most of the games are going to start dropping in 2023. That is a good topic of discussion. Danny, do you think, are you in agreement with me? I think their biggest stuff is coming 2023 and to be shown in gameplay next year, unfortunately.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. 2022 is not going to be a bad year. I think people are still sleeping on that because we're going to see some cool games from Xbox that might not be AAA. There's still going to be some good stuff. But yeah, I think the end of 2022, the beginning of 2023, that's when I think we might see some okay, now we're talking the bangers, So, but is it Starfield coming out next year, early spring, or is this going to be a holiday game? Like how's that going to work out? And what other games are coming out too? Is it going to be Forza Motorsport? That's not coming out this year at all. The rumor is Horizon. So yeah. There's a lot of question marks, and Fable is not going to come out anytime soon. Perfect Dark, those games are going to 2023 and beyond.
Yep.
Yeah, or just in 2023, I think.
Yeah.
Benji, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're pretty much spot on. 2022 is not going to be, I don't think, a bad year. I think it's going to be better than 2021, but I wouldn't expect, at least from the little bit we've seen, because most of what we've seen for these games is really just kind of a concept trailer, right? We haven't seen much of what these games truly are. So that does say to me that most of these are probably 2023 and beyond. But I don't think 2022 is going to be bad, right? Starfield alone is going to be pretty huge. And of course, they're going to have some other stuff besides just Starfield. So I think 2022 will be an improvement over this year, but probably 2023 is when you get to the point where you're like, wow, these games are really hitting at a consistent rate, super high quality. That would be my guess as well. Yeah.
Okay. Brett Bingham says, pre-order Halo Infinite today and get the Craig meme Spartan costume from Phil Spencer.
Hey. I have a feeling that Craig might pop up in the game.
He's got to, right?
As some kind of Easter egg or something. Yeah. Because I think it was Phil Spencer mentioned this during an interview. Like there's people at Microsoft that they will wear the Craig t-shirt. Yeah. That's like a joke. Like people just find that as a joke. Like that's the thing that I love what the marketing team has been doing like the past year or so, where there's memes online of people making fun of Xbox, but they flip it and makes it like a reality. So, for example, was calling the Xbox Series X a refrigerator. Marketing team, refrigerator. Like I love that type of thing. So, don't be surprised if we see Craig in the game. I think that will happen though.
Did you guys make the correlation between them making fun of Craig's face and then the other side making fun of Aloy's face? Did you see that? That was like hey, fair is fair. You made fun of Craig. We can't make fun of Aloy.
Interesting. I wonder if that's where this came from.
Oh,
now that you mentioned that, I didn't even think about that, but interesting.
Knowing how shallow and petty some people get, I think what's missing is, and none of these characters are real, right? Like Aloy's not real. Craig is obviously a completely fictional thing that I'm not going to see when I go to Walmart. But the controversy, which we don't need to get really into, is about the way that females should or shouldn't look. That's where you need to like realize, hey, if console war is console war, you got to be really careful about that. But Edward King says, just realize for the first time in history, it's a great point. Halo, Battlefield, and Call of Duty release in the same year, in the same season.
It's going to be crazy.
Two of those, he says, holy moly, those could be in Game Pass. Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, this holiday is first-person shooter, all-out warfare.
And then
like
Exomecha.
3 massive AAA FPS games, all within like a month or two of each other.
Yeah.
And the most important thing too is the 20th anniversary of Halo and Xbox. So you know Xbox is going to go all out.
Yeah, they're going all out for sure.
And then there's Exomecha, free to play like indie first-person competitive shooter, and Crossfire X. And that's all going to be in September until November. Like,
I forgot about that.
Same. Wow, I forgot.
Ooh.
So that's
wow.
that is crazy. JP Dunks Forces. Do you think Halo multiplayer,
the first-person shooter games?
Yes. Do you think Halo multiplayer being free to play, they'll bundle monthly skins or other exclusive items for Game Pass subs? I don't think so. Fortnite has a monthly sub option and monthly unique skins and V-Bucks. That is a very popular money factory. Yeah.
I could see some kind of Game Pass bonus. I don't know what that would be, but they've done that with other games where you get like a DLC skin or something if you're part of Game Pass. I think Gears did some of that. So I could see some, I don't know, how all out they'll go on that, but I could see some kind of Game Pass multiplayer bonus, cosmetic stuff. I could see it.
Yeah, I can see it too.
Yeah. So, tons of shooters coming, tons of really good stuff, and holy smokes! Did you guys see the Unreal Engine? Unreal Engine demo. This is sort of something that we'll see kind of come down the line, but we've got new tools for Xbox is using Unreal Engine in mass right now. So.
I can't wait. Hopefully, we'll see something with that for Gears, the next Gears game. Oh my god,
they're already moving that up right now. Aren't they? Yeah,
yep. That's gonna look amazing. But I wonder what other games from Xbox are planning to use for Unreal Engine.
The next Gears, In Exile's next first-person post-apocalyptic game is going to be in Unreal Engine 5. I think Perfect Dark is going to be in Unreal Engine 5, and what else?
Interesting on that one. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know about Perfect Dark. Okay.
I'm not sure about Perfect Dark, but I think that they've kind of talked about what they're making. So I know that there are some studios that have talked about moving the Unreal Engine 5 stuff into 5. So. Yes, Hellblade 2. There we go. They're saying in the chat right now while I'm trying to get my thoughts together. But yeah, someone's saying Indiana Jones. I can't remember what engine Machine Games uses for their team. So there is a whole bunch of stuff that was a pretty impressive demo that was supposed to be, according to some of the fanboys, an exclusive to the PlayStation 5. You guys saw that going on, right?
No, I actually missed this.
Yeah, same here. I totally missed it.
Yeah. So that was something that they said last year, I think, when the new nanites, Lumens and the nanites thing, it was exclusive demo to PlayStation 5. They weren't going to show it running on the Series X or PC. And yeah, that's pretty crazy. Let's see. I got a couple of supers here. Derek Myers said, is Dead Island 2 really going to happen? I've covered this quite a bit. I think they're really trying, but it's a mess.
It is a mess. That's been happening for a long time. But it's been having issues too throughout the year. So yeah, I don't know. Not anytime soon.
Yeah. So I've kind of covered that. But we do see Dying Light coming This crap, I forgot. I think it's
December 7th.
December.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to actually get delayed out of this year. I was surprised to see a December release date. I thought that was going to get pushed to next year.
Oh yeah. Apparently they've been making way on that. So yeah, it's been going really well. It's been a whole mess. I'm really looking forward to that game. That team is super talented. Yeah, they're really good. Mm-hmm. So we've got a bunch of stuff going on for the Xbox E3 showcase. It's in 2 weeks. Benji, lead us off of what you think we're going to see.
The main thing that I keep thinking is that this show, I'm expecting some brand new first party announcements, but I'm not expecting, like, in terms of strictly first party stuff, I'm not expecting like 10 brand new first party games, just because, you know, they do have so many announced that we've barely seen anything on yet. Right. So I would be surprised if they did just tons of brand new. We've never even seen this. I think we're going to get some of that. But, you know, of course, I'm expecting a ton on Halo. I think they're going to talk a lot about multiplayer on Halo at this E3, just because we've seen the single player before. And, of course, they're going to want to show that again to show what kind of improvements they've made. But they've barely talked about multiplayer at all. So, and that's a huge component of Halo. So I think we're going to get a lot of Halo multiplayer. I think Starfield's actually going to have maybe a bigger showing here than some thought, because the fact that they kind of put it right in the teaser image, like right in your face, they're like, look, here's Starfield. That makes me think it's not going to be just some like short 3-minute trailer. I think we're going to get an actual chunk of Starfield. And then obviously, you know, all the rumors about Forza Horizon 5. I think those are going to be kind of like the tent poles, though, like they really focus, they show you quite a bit on that. And then, you know, and then a couple new first party announcements and probably some pretty big Game Pass deals from third parties. I think you're going to see some of that too.
Okay. Let me get to Danny here in a second. RDX Son of Fett said, if Switch Pro is more power than Series S, that's a win for Xbox. Oh, more money. If Switch Pro is more money, then that's a win for Xbox. I don't know about that.
I don't know about win.
It'll sell like crazy. Also, people are sleeping on Scorn, Exomecha, and others. And Halo Infinite Lego confirms that Locke is dead. Well,
really?
I don't know. That must be canon in with the Lego. JP Dunk says, do you think I did cover that one? Okay, good. We're good. All right. Yeah, that's funny. RedX 333 says, do you think Indiana Jones is first person or third person? Ooh. Danny, Machine Games.
I think it's going to be third person.
Yeah.
Keep it like that. I think that will be cool. It'll be similar to Uncharted and Tomb Raider, right?
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. Like that would be awesome.
That would be an amazing get for Xbox. They need something like that.
Yeah. So. I'll tell you this. I think that game will be on Game Pass, but not exclusive for Xbox. I think it will be available for all the consoles, but Game Pass. Because it's the thing is just because of Lucas. So I don't know how that Lucas Games. I don't know how that's going to work when it comes to that. So this is prediction.
And that contract would have been signed before Microsoft purchased them. So that's the other, that's the other wild card. It depends. I mean, if that contract flat out stated it has to be multi-platform, it might have to be. Yeah. Benji, that'll be an interesting one to watch.
Do you think that these contracts, because Bethesda has always been a multi-platform developer, do you think those contracts specifically say that you can't only release it on a certain platform? If it was implied it would be everywhere, you think that's something that really has to be said?
So with licensed properties, there usually is specific wording around what platforms you support. Usually there is. Like, for example, the sports games flat out state it must be released on all viable platforms. So it just depends. Obviously, the other first party stuff, right? All the IP that Bethesda owns, there's no doubt about that, right? There's full control now at Microsoft. They choose where that goes.
Right.
This one is a bit of an interesting one. It could be exclusive. We don't really know. But if Lucasfilm had wording in there, like that this must be a multi-platform release,
what about
Microsoft would either have to honor that or they could renegotiate the contract since things have changed. They could try to do that. So who knows? That could go either way.
What about KOTOR? Like that was exclusive to the Xbox original, wasn't it? And stayed that way?
It was. Yep.
So, yeah, I agree with you as far as that contract being struck long before the acquisition was pegged for Xbox. Yeah, that is interesting.
And they might not have specified, right? It could have been that the contract was just, hey, we're going to make an Indiana Jones game, the best game we can. And if they didn't flat out say you must release this on PC and PlayStation, then, then they can do whatever they want with it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you were an Xbox fan, you were hoping for some sort of special treatment. You're looking at getting that for almost nothing with your Game Pass subscription.
Yeah, no matter what, it'll be Game Pass.
Yeah. $0 lowdown says, oh, well, I'm not saying that right, but D at Dawn, maybe. Unreal 5 is In Exile's next RPG, which we covered. Hellblade 2, Avowed and Obsidian's other IP could be in Unreal Engine 5. Gears, like we said, and Everwild, most likely. Do you guys know what Rare's been using for an engine? I haven't actually really looked into that.
I have no idea.
That's actually a great question. I don't remember what Sea of Thieves is on. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Is that Unreal Engine? I'm trying to think.
It might be.
Sea of
I'm
Thieves?
honestly not sure.
You know what? Real time.
There you go.
Let me go back to that Halo Lego comment, because RDX Son of Fett said that Locke's helmet was on a brute's shoulder. On must have been a Lego type thing. So I don't know.
Got the answer. So somebody asked, let's see, is this Sea of Thieves Rare's first game using Unreal? And let's see. Yeah, people are saying
it's Unreal.
It's the first one. Yeah,
and
for that one.
We have heard that Xbox is migrating their stuff up to or updating it in through Unreal Engine 5. It can be transferred up. So how much does that matter? I don't know. There are some great things that make their job a little easier, stuff that we don't deal with. But Brigadier's Blue says, was anyone else a little miffed that the remaster for Star Wars Republic Commandos, I remember that game, recently skipped Xbox? Yes, I was. But that game's back and pat on Xbox. Did you guys play this game? First person Stormtrooper as a Republic Commando. Remember this one?
Oh, what's the name? What's the
name
of the game?
I have not played this one.
Star Wars Republic Commando. It's a first person shooter. It came out in like 2001 or 02.
Yes, I played that. Yeah.
It got like a base.
Decent reviews.
You got a remaster for PlayStation.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet.
PC, and it totally skipped Xbox.
Switch too.
Why? What happened there?
I think the game is available for Xbox where you could just download and play it, but it's never been on the Switch or PlayStation, so that's why I think it got released like that. So,
I mean, that was like that was like a Halo game, a Star Wars Halo game. I felt when I played it way back in the day. Son of Fett gives us more information. Says the brute with Locke's helmet will be a major boss. That brute that will fight. Yeah, there will be boss battles in Halo Infinite. There's a lot to this game that we will finally see at E3.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we can't predict that we'll see at the E3 showing. So that'll be a big deal. So there's also Summer Game Fest. Are you guys keep an eye on Jeff Keighley's E3 contribution to the gaming community? I haven't been watching what's coming up, but what do you see, Benji?
He has a lot of partners.
I know he's got his his actual showcase event. Isn't that on the 10th? Is that right? June 10th? I think we actually could see some surprising announcements at that one. I don't know if I want to hype it to the moon like it's going to be the craziest showcase ever, but the thing is there is so many games that are unannounced that need to be announced, right? COVID last year delayed a ton of stuff, including a ton of announcements. So there is so many games that are in the works, especially at third parties, that are still yet to be revealed. So I think we could potentially see some interesting stuff here. I'm not really sure what. Is this where Kojima shows up, right? They do have a close relationship. If it's not an Xbox game, because we don't technically know. Because I would assume if he has a deal with Xbox, of course, Microsoft themselves would want that as part of the Xbox
will be
show.
there.
Yeah. So maybe Jeff and Kojima have a good relationship. So that's a thin possibility, but I don't know. This one's hard to predict, but I think we will get maybe a couple cool surprises there.
Yeah. Oh man, that's interesting when you think about Xbox will be at the event. Danny, what do you think that Xbox is going to allow to be at Summer Game Fest, knowing that in 3 days their big show that's their moment?
Yeah, I think maybe smaller games. That's what I think we might see when it comes to like Xbox and certain other companies. I think we're going to see like the bigger announcements at the digital showcase for Xbox. Like for me, it doesn't make sense for Xbox to have it available, like to announce it on like Summer Game Fest, unless it's something small. I think that'll be cool, but yeah, no, save everything else, the big guns for the show, like the what you guys are saying about the horror game. I don't see that happening on this one at all. If that happens, it probably will do it. It to me, as a consumer, seen from the outside, it looks more powerful having it through the digital showcase, making that big announcement, like boom, something like that, instead of having it like on Summer Game Fest. I'm not dissing Summer Game Fest at all. It's just it to me, it just doesn't make sense for that to happen. Maybe the Game Awards maybe will fit for something like that, you know. Yeah, but I don't see big games for this one, man. Unless maybe the third party companies, maybe they don't have a digital showcase, and this will be like the best opportunity for these companies to announce these games there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure to provide something of substance to Summer Game Fest and also do your big show. So Benji, what if you're Xbox, you don't want to phone it in for Summer Game Fest because it's a bad look. It's your first showing before the big event. What are they going to show? I think they have to bring something substantial, at least something. What's your take?
Man, that is tough to say because I'm with Danny that your biggest guns you want to save for your own show, right? But they have, at least according to Jeff, they do have some kind of presence as part of Summer Game Fest. So maybe they do. Didn't Sony do a thing not that long ago? Was this at Gamescom opening night live that Jeff hosted? Something. They had like a small Ratchet teaser as part of Jeff's show. And then they said like, see the full thing at our event. Maybe Microsoft does some kind of little thing like that with one of their big games, right? I don't know which one, but maybe they just drop like a small minute teaser as part of Jeff's show. And then they're like, hey, come to the, the actual Xbox showcase to really see this thing. Maybe you could see them do something like that. Or if they have like a smaller project. But for Xbox themselves, I think you won't see a ton of big stuff at Jeff's show. I think the big games probably would come from third party.
I have something kind of spicy to say. People don't really understand it, but Xbox actually has a lot of content to talk about and to share even this year and next year. And actually, this came at the perfect time. Zero Lowdown said third-party exclusives like Stalker 2 are coming in the next 6 to 9 months, barring delays. Warhammer Darktide, a 4-player co-op, kind of like a zombie shooter game, is coming. Exomecha, that free-to-play first-person shooter. Tunic, a small Super NES Zelda type indie game that people are really excited about. The little fox with the sword. 12 Minutes, a small indie about murder. I'm kind of elaborating his super chat here. The Gunk is in Detroit.
Oh yeah, the Gunk.
A promising little studio. Yeah, Danny, you like the Gunk?
Yeah, it looks really good, really good. And by the way, I was gonna give you guys an example of what makes sense to show during Summer Game Fest. So, like, say for example, Psychonauts 2 might be coming out around August, September. Why not show it there and show a short trailer through the digital showcase? Because, like you said, Xbox has so much content that they're planning to announce, and they're probably gonna save a couple other ones for like maybe Gamescom or whatever else is happening before the holiday season, So that to me makes more sense. And have Jeff Keighley do an interview with the team, like I could see something like that happening for sure.
Yeah. So I think that'll be one of the big takeaways from E3 is that there are more games than you can handle. It just depends on one of the issues that Xbox fans or diehard Xbox fans that are mostly on the Xbox platform have to deal with, and me included, is chasing the PlayStation method, right? Like, is Xbox going to show something as amazing and open world and cinematic as Horizon Forbidden West? This year, maybe they won't. Next year, maybe they will. But following that mode, you can really start to see the divide between Xbox and PlayStation, where they provide a totally different experience of a huge variety of games for super cheap and all this flexibility. And PlayStation provides this honed experience that is tailor-made for the crazy people on social media that have a bragging flag that they wave.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I would like to see? I would like to see Xbox show more gameplay footage, during the digital showcase. Like, I know we're probably going to see something like that for Halo, maybe, to show like, hey, we approved the gameplay from like last year. But I think showing just concept arts or quick little trailer, like I would like to see more gameplay and switch it up. Have those regular trailers. It all depends on what type of game they want to get the people excited. Like, I think Hellblade will be the perfect game to show as a gameplay, because we haven't seen anything since the Game Awards, right? So this will be huge for Xbox if they could do something like that during the Xbox showcase.
Yeah, I've talked to Xbox, and they say they like to show gameplay the year of release, and their first-party stuff isn't releasing until next year or after E3. But one thing
makes sense.
One thing I have noticed as I've followed E3 pretty closely is Xbox typically shows more games than PlayStation in their events, and they show more games that are coming out in that calendar year before the next E3. But I don't mind Xbox saying, here's what we have coming sometime in this generation. Be excited, have like a kernel of faith that there's these cool things. And I think they started to do that a little bit, haven't they? Where they've shown Everwild and Hellblade 2 and State of Decay 3, Avowed, Hellblade, all these games that are coming in the near future. But yes, I'm with Danny and Benji. I want to see more gameplay. Edward King says, I'm not quite sure what he means by this full thing, but he says not making separate shows, just both covering them. I think he's talking about Summer Game Fest and their big presser. So yeah, there's going to be a big emphasis on Game Pass. So
for sure.
What are you guys expecting to see from Halo? We're hearing it's going to be a multiplayer centric presentation.
Which makes more sense. If they could do, they already show the single player last year. I think multiplayer will be big, and also, it'll be something amazing if they could announce something like, all right, Halo Infinite multiplayer beta available this summer for Xbox Game Pass subscribers.
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
That's a home run right there. And I could see it.
Yeah. Go right now and sign up and be one of the first to play or something like that, for $1 for 3 months or whatever. That would be sick. That would be sick. Yeah.
I don't think the beta is going to be honestly that far away. There was a lot of talk even last year before they, like right around when they delayed Halo. Phil was even saying back then that the multiplayer itself was in a good spot. They did delay, the whole package to make everything release together and feel good. But even back when they delayed it, he was talking about how the multiplayer was in a pretty good space. So yeah, that's right on, Danny. I could see the beta being not too far after E3. I don't know if it'll be like a shadow drop right now, but yeah, like you said, sometime this summer, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
What about this? Do you think they'll release a short single player demo? That was something that I think they were supposed to do. I talked to Major Nelson and I said that showcase had a start to play demo like icon.
Oh,
and he goes, that's interesting. I think they had plans to release that until the backlash that we would see in the coming week or so, that you would be able to download that playable section as you worked your way up to the elevator and over to the console, like maybe like a 5 or 6 minute gameplay demo, depending on how long you shot your way through that. Do you think they've totally abandoned the concept of a playable single player demo?
Nah, I don't see that. I just don't see it. I could see more the multiplayer side as a beta than anything else. But single player, honestly, think about it. When was the last time that they ever released a demo of Halo in the history of the 20 years of Halo? Never.
Yeah. It's always
I've
been
never seen that.
multiplayer.
Yeah, it's always multiplayer.
Yeah, unless you go to a conference, maybe you will play the demo there. But I remember seeing the Halo Reach beta came out, like a couple other ones. Yeah, Halo 3, I think it was too. Like if you had
that came with Crackdown, right?
Yeah. Crackdown, yeah. I mean, it didn't came out right away. It came out months later, but that we always see multiplayer, but not single player.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty important to stick the landing on the multiplayer part. So getting that alpha or that beta demo out as soon as possible is super important. Zach Yearwood says E3 predictions: Avalanche Studio makes Whirlpool icon, Typhoon. Okay, Obsidian Star. We'll just do no comment as we read, right, boys? Avalanche Studios makes Typhoon. Obsidian announces a Star Wars game. And Omen going to be a surprise. Let's talk about Omen for a minute as we're getting close to wrap up the show. We've got over 1,300 people listening live. If you've just tuned in and actually been hearing us ramble for quite a while about the stuff we're excited about, I've got Benji-Sales, a games analyst, and I've got Danny Pena of Gamertag Radio. And we are super excited to talk about what we're going to see in 2 weeks for E3. If you're listening on demand, we're on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and some other smaller platforms that can get your earbuds ringing with game talk. But let's talk about Omen as we round out toward the end of the show. Danny, tell me, you've heard of Omen, so just speculate until you can't see straight.
Omen, explain to me what's going on with Omen, because this
is this newish to you, or you're
this is very new to me, so I'm trying to figure out what this is.
All right, I'll lead you in because I know Benji knows. Omen is, I'll use some legal terms so that we don't get in trouble. Omen is allegedly a first-person vampire RPG by Arcane Lion or Arcane Austin. We're not sure. It might be Arcane Austin, the bigger studio. The team behind Prey and Dishonored is making a vampire stealth-based first-person RPG. So let's go to Danny, since this is brand new information.
This is brand new for me. Yeah, that sounds very interesting. I would love to play that, man. If they could, pull something like that, But the question that I have is, when was the last game? It was Prey, right? Their last game was
2017.
Yep.
2017. Man, so is it possible? Because look, Bethesda is known for always saying, announce the game and then say, okay, it's available like later this year, like
when it's ready,
super quick, or when it's ready. Yeah, they're really known for that. So could it be this year? Or if there's so much content going on, why not release it like early next year if they make the announcement, and have that keep the flow going with all these games coming out, Psychonauts and whatever comes out in October, and then Halo Infinite, and then continue like that, right? Because that would be awesome if Bethesda, Xbox Studios, everybody just continue releasing content monthly. Because I think, and Benji, tell me if I'm wrong, but I know the year that the Nintendo Switch came out, they had an exclusive for the whole year. Every month there was a new exclusive coming out. So it was Mario Kart, Zelda. There was a bunch of stuff coming out.
Tons. Yeah, that first year was stacked for Switch.
Yeah. So why not do something like that for Xbox? That would be amazing. And have it available on Game Pass. Yo, mic drop right there, man.
Real quick, Benji.
I would like. Yeah, go ahead.
The chat is like saying Benji's face says it all. Drop the drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot.
I want to say before I let Benji take the reins on this. When you're talking, Danny, about this game, like I picture, I don't know if I can do this on camera, but I picture like the claw hands creeping in first person. Or you get that view where you look at the hand and you're creeping. You can crouch, and I hope that this game is one of those where you can go stealthy, but if you mess up, you can go just blood spraying, utter violence, and go killing spree. Benji, tell us what Omen is, or what you think you allegedly know, reportedly, and with a grain of salt and whatnot.
Well, I mean, you did a great job setting it up. Yep, that is at least what's floating around. I think there's a really good chance this is here. Yep. I won't say I know that for sure because I definitely don't. But man, there's a lot floating around about this. So I really think there's a very, very good chance that this is here. Yeah. Whenever you think about it, it's like, Bethesda does need to show, I think, more than just Starfield, because that's just one of their teams, right? Bethesda was a whole, publisher purchase, right? It wasn't just that they bought one team. So I think they will want to show more than just Starfield. I think they'll want to show at least one other thing that one of these teams is working on. Omen sure makes a lot of sense, at least with all the rumblings that are out there.
Yeah, they've got 7 teams. So, are they going to show Indiana Jones?
Too early.
Or at least make
I think it's too early.
You think you can make an appearance at least?
Nah, I think it's too early.
Yeah.
Let me throw a wrench in that gear because
now is Colt going to drop a bomb?
yeah, this is now I'm supposed to make an E3 predictions video or what I think is coming, and I have a lot of information behind the scenes. It gets really crazy because not a lot of stuff is leaked, but there's some spicy and juicy information coming out about this. It's possible that Wolfenstein 3 doesn't exist or
really
yet. So if that is true, now let's just pretend that's true, okay?
Yeah,
because I did not see that coming,
and nobody's going to get in trouble, right? I mean, a lot of people think that the third Wolfenstein game is going to make an appearance at E3, but if they've decided not to work on Wolfenstein 3, that could only mean that Indiana Jones is coming out sooner than we would have assumed. So let's just assume at that, right? So if that's true, if you watch the show and there's no Wolfenstein, the next thing could be a showing of Indiana Jones other than that pan across the desk. So keep that in mind. We'll talk about that some more. Let's see. Magic Cast says, do you think Xbox addressed the lack of family-oriented games this year through Game Pass partnerships or acquisitions? Big fan of all three of you. Much love. Oh, that's really cool to say.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Xbox has a lot of family-oriented games, but they're also doing a lot of creepy, scary, violent games lately too. Have you noticed this?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm assuming he's talking about Banjo or Conker.
Bring Banjo back. Come on.
Look, I would like to see the return of Banjo. I would love to see the return of 100, 1 versus 100. I think that would be so sick if they could pull that off. I'm thinking what other games like family. Well, we are really going to get Psychonauts too. That's going to be a big one, So yeah, I mean, maybe we'll see. Man, are we going to see anything with Cuphead? Like it's been a couple of years. The DLC.
I haven't heard from them.
Yeah, and the new series is coming out, so I think it will be perfect to.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Are they going to stay exclusive? MDH Studios, I think I got that name right, making Cuphead. Are they going to go multi-platform soon, or could they put out one more game for Xbox?
I think, and this is my prediction, I think that now that the game is available everywhere, we're probably going to see the same thing, multi-plat, but have the next game or DLC available for Game Pass or something like that. I can see something like that for them.
Yeah, it's not so much a family-friendly game. My son and I can't get through it very easily. I get too frustrated, and then I might not say something family-friendly next to him.
Snap.
Dead Planet says, I don't want to bring up Banjo. It was perfect timing for him to say it. But did no one notice that the Smash reveal got millions of views? So obviously, people know that I'm anti-Banjo. You guys love Banjo. I want Xbox to do something new, something cinematic. Like, even if it's just one game. So when people throw Banjo into the request line, I go into the...
You shoot it down. You're like, no.
I go to the leave suggestion box. I'm like...
I'm good. Yeah.
But, yeah, good comment. But, yeah, I think to wrap that up, there are going to be a ton of games. There are a lot of stuff coming right after 2021. But you guys know there's like 6 or 7 exclusives coming for Xbox from E3 on, right? For just the rest of the year, like we've talked about them. Stalker might be in there. Exomecha. Say them with me. You got The Ascent. You got
The Ascent.
Yeah, The Ascent's July. I'm excited for that.
Yep, yeah. Scorn might be in there. Fonzarelli Gaming says Banjo. He's another one with me that we're trying to stop the Banjo. The hype train. I know that it would be great. You guys played Sackboy Adventure and Astrobot.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I love
amazing.
both of those.
Both games are awesome. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Really
if
good.
Banjo's like that, charm, great music, obviously it would be brought up into the current times, then I'm all for it. Those games are great. But yeah, if you've joined us, this is Xbox Newscast podcast, and I'm Colteastwood, and I have Benji-Sales here to sign us out with Danny Pena of Gamertag Radio. Benji, let the audience know why you're here and what you're playing and your thoughts on the next couple of weeks.
Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me on, man. It was awesome. It was great to finally talk to you and Danny. I've been following both of you guys for a long time, so it's been awesome to finally get to sit down and talk for like an hour and a half. So, yeah, that was awesome. Thanks for having me on. Been playing a bunch of Mass Effect, bunch of Overwatch, gearing up for Ratchet and Clank around the corner. And if this is my sign off, I guess you can find me on Twitter at Benji-Sales and on YouTube on Benji-Sales as well.
And you stream as well. You stream games.
Yep,
and
I do like one live chat on my YouTube every single week. I don't put out a ton of content. It's just like a really interactive stream. Me talking to, people on chat. We talk about, whatever the big gaming news is for that week, video game sales, business. That's kind of my specialty, but I talk about gaming in general. So yeah, I do one stream a week there on my YouTube channel. And then I'm on Twitter like nonstop.
Oh yeah.
too much. I'm on Twitter too much.
Brigadier's Blue says Gex the Gecko for Xbox, please. I remember that little game. I don't think I ever played it.
Oh my God, I forgot about that game.
All right, who are you, Danny Pena? Tell us, tell everybody where they are, where you're at, and what it's all about.
Well, I'm right now living here in Los Angeles, man. So I just moved here a couple months. But yeah, so check me out on Gamertag Radio Podcast. We release 2 episodes every week. You can find us on any podcast app. But now, thanks to Colt and you, Benji. It was awesome talking to you guys, and I can't wait. I can't wait for the next few weeks. It's gonna be exciting, man. As a gamer, it's gonna be a lot of fun, man. Back then, we didn't have these crazy announcements like now, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to see the future for Xbox, man, because this is the 20th anniversary. I've been there since day one. I even remember I still have my badge somewhere around here. My first media badge ever was for this event called Xbox Unleashed, and this was in New York City. And I was like a Sega Dreamcast hardcore fan, Nintendo fan. I was like, Xbox, when I went inside, man, completely changed my mind about everything Xbox, and that experience also completely changed my life, man. So this year is a very special year for me because I've been there since the beginning. So I can't wait to see what they have planned, man, for the future. It's gonna be exciting.
That's awesome. Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
And you're on Twitter, and you're on.
Twitter. My God.
I mean, give us a plug. I mean,
Godfrey.
Everybody knows who you are.
Right? Yeah. Godfrey, GODFRW. You can find me there. I'm very vocal with. I'm always joking out with Paris too. So check it out. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you so much, guys. I mean, this is great for the people who are watching. 1,300 people that watch today. Like, this is our first chance to meet. So, we had an excuse to get together and talk games. So we really appreciate you in the chat for asking us questions and sharing the excitement. And while you're out there, it can be pretty crazy, but enjoy the hobby, man. There's so much good stuff. So I want to thank you guys. Give a wave bye to everybody. Thanks for checking in, and we will be out of here. Thanks for everything.